Good morning. Welcome to the end of week 6, the beginning of week 7. And you finished your exam, and I hope you all did well and got something positive out of that experience. We're going to continue on with our section that we're doing on the life cycle analysis. And this week we're working on the group activity of trying to put together one LCA for a bioenergy product. And we've talked about, in the last lecture I talked about the various components, the variances, cradle to gate, gate to gate, gate to grave, or gate to cradle, or cradle to cradle, all the way through. And by now you have an understanding of what those mean. As we go through the a bioenergy product, let's think about, for a minute, just taking one of them, let's say ethanol. That seems to be the one that's most often used, and talk about the vertical and horizontal linkages that are associated with biofuel production. You can think about ethanol as a production function that involves the production of corn used as a substrate for ethanol production. And so you can also think about the production function for corn. Those are the vertical linkages. So you'd have ethanol, corn, and then the nutrients and the materials that went into the corn production, all the way down. Along each one of those, you can pick one. Let's pick the input, phosphorus. Well, phosphorus has to be mined, and so there's a whole production function associated with mining. The mining equipment, the mining labor, the fuel that's used for mining. And then the same thing is true for the equipment that's used to produce corn. That equipment has to be made with steel. The steel has to be mined. There's equipment, manpower, everything that's used for that. So that's that entire life cycle. Remember that when you talk about from the cradle, you're talking about all the inputs that went into corn production, finding the source of those, the very cradle of the source of those for every element that went into that, and then what happens then to that that set of materials or that set of minerals all the way through the process. So in that sense, we're going to try to put together a model of one biofuel product, and we'll all work together. You can see it's going to be a rather interesting assignment in that you can go for quite a ways on each one of these things, trying to come up with that starting point for each one of the materials that's used in the production of one product. So keep in mind that it'd be good to lay those things out graphically on a vertical level, that being the production function, and then for each one of those inputs, the horizontal level of that connection. So finally, remember that LCA is two parts. One is just getting an idea of that material flow from where it came and where it goes, but also in terms of the leakages, what's falling out of the system that won't be able to be recaptured and be reused. And that's more the important point, and that's really what the course is about, is trying to figure out or trying to inform people about that cradle to cradle or cradle to grave movement of or flow of minerals, so that when we understand what those linkages are, we can develop technologies that reduce those leakages and provide a more sustainable environment. So that's it for this week. Have fun on that assignment. This should be an assignment that we all work together on, and it'll help you in understanding what's all involved in the LCA. So we'll see you next week.